So I'm Niels. I am the CTO of Kalidos, which is a healthcare IT company, and I oversee the development of healthcare software. I do a little bit of development, but a lot of architecture, a lot of instructing people, hiring budgets, and forecasting.
And why did you decide on a career in technology?
I think I was 11 years old when my father bought me my first book. So you could say that I was a little bit groomed to start this job. The idea was that I would go in politics when I was an adolescent, but I figured I want to create value. So that's why I decided to go into IT, just to be able to deliver value to people.
What are you doing on a day-to-day basis, and what excites you about your current role?
I'm overlooking now the development of our new software. I do a little bit of development, but mainly I make sure that people have the right processes, the right tools, the right understanding of what the problem is that we're trying to solve, and mainly making sure that the product we are going to deliver is technically excellent and also easily to work with. So I also do some product development right now as well.
What has been the biggest challenge in your career to date?
The biggest challenge, and that's something that's always recurring, something that you have to really keep your fingers on, is like one thing to understand a problem for yourself, but it's also selling that problem to the audience. And depending on which organization you are in, if you're in a smaller organization, it's way easier to sell the problem, sell the urgency. But if you're in a bigger organization, you have to understand first and foremost, can I make that change? The chance that you as a developer in a team of 1,000 or a company of 1,000 people will change the whole process, it's kind of slim. And the reason why that's important is not that you don't start that change, but you have to understand how much energy will that cost of you, and in order to pace yourself to make efforts in that regard is a really difficult exercise, but one that you have to do in order to protect your own motivation. You have a problem, but make sure that you can sell it to the right audience, and you actually know the right people to get the problem fixed that you have.
And what has been your biggest achievement to date?
I think I work in IT, and it's really everybody that probably listens to this video will work in IT. But mainly people think the most important achievements are lines of code you produce, or like the architecture drawings that you make. But it's actually, we are working with people. That's our only resource. And understanding that you're working with people and you are able to build out a team, having done that somewhat successfully in the past, and I hope now that I'm doing it really successfully, that's what is something that makes me really proud. And it's not that you can find like, this is a perfect fit in our company, we slot them in and it's perfect. No, everybody has its own characteristics. And making an environment where most people can function in and can be happy in, that's really something that I'm super happy that I'm now delivering.
What new technology are you most excited about at the moment?
My policy is build it boring. There's no need in risking your business profits or like future just because you want to try out a new framework. But what I am really interested in is towards I see the IT landscape move a little bit towards Rust. And that makes me really interested, because the way that programming language tackles certain problems, it makes it a really compelling argument for future development. It's really about the memory safety, right? And so software that doesn't crash is way easier in Rust, but you still have that C-like way of working, which a lot of people really tend to love. So,
What changes do you envision for your sector in the next 5 years?
I don't think a lot necessarily is going to change. New frameworks are going to start, but basically a lot of this stuff, frameworks or languages or whatever. I think the only thing that I wonder about, so I'm also a React developer. I've created a lot of applications in React. I'm starting to see some rot into the environment. So I think de facto, there's more React developers and there's more React in stacks than anywhere else. I do think that is about to change. I don't think it's going to be to Angular or to anything else. But I do feel that the excitement for React is a little bit dying down, which I find very sad, because I built a lot of my career on it. But I do feel that there is some disruption possible there. Now, having said that, making any predictions in JavaScript stacks really, really good move to end your career quickly. On the other hand, I think companies will move more remote. I think that's the obvious one. COVID has shown a lot that is where it's going, and I also feel that staff or individual people will also start to respond to that way more than they already currently do, and that's also already a lot. So what is it? The big firing, not, but the big changing of the big quit that they had in America. I think we're going to see that start here now as well in Europe.
If you could give one piece of advice to future technology leaders, what would it be?
Having seen some companies, I know it's tempting to put a ping pong table and to say, yeah, look at us, how flashy we are, and look how agile and all these buzzwords that they throw around. It's most businesses like, yeah, you need some flash. You need to be able to pull in some people, and you have maybe junior people that you're trying to hire out of university or school, anything like that. But the one thing you have to focus on an internally facing role, such as I have, or anybody that wants to become a staff manager or an engineering manager, is that you're working with people. And the only resource that you really have to groom that is trust. Doing things that are disingenuous, that people feel that it's not authentic, is going to hurt your trust tremendously. And if you want to become a true technology leader, then yes, you can do stuff that is not great, but as long as people trust you, you will be able to do whatever your company needs to do. But the authenticity about it and making sure that you don't harm that trust is really key to any success that you have. I know it's not a technology answer for sure, but I think we need to invest in organizations, and that's the one resource that any organization can never get enough of.